they don't work hard enough, or they're not together. And I think today they've shown that they're together, they've worked hard, and that's why they've got the result they've got today. So to walk up them steps, lift the trophy, great feeling.
And how much more special is it because it's against this Manchester City team, their local rivals, and the fact they've been so dominant in recent years?
Oh, it means everything to the fans. You know, you've got two sets of fans here, both from Manchester. Bragging rights at stake. Obviously, Manchester City have won a lot of trophies over the last few years, but to beat Man City in the final today is massive for this team, and hopefully it's the building block they need to move forward.
Okay, there's Erik ten Hag leading his team up the steps to collect the FA Cup trophy. Let's join Guy Mowbray.
Thank you, Gary. Well, Erik will never be the king at Manchester United. That title belongs to another. But he will now forever be Erik the Red, no matter what the next few days and weeks hold for him. A bit of redemption at the end, maybe, or perhaps more than that. Is this the start of a Red revival? Sir Jim Ratcliffe's mind and money will certainly help. When he completed his £1.25 billion deal for 27.7% of the club in February, he spoke about knocking Liverpool and City off their perch. And I think he can sit back tonight and consider this one step taken towards that goal. What a player that young man is. The FA Cup final, star of the show for 2024, Kobbie Mainoo. Just behind Erik ten Hag, another star. Approaching the other end of his career, Raphael Varane. This is the end for him at Manchester United. He's going elsewhere. But he's saying goodbye as an FA Cup winner after surely running Mainoo close for the player of the match honours himself. It's a fierce rivalry, the Manchester one, but this has been by and large verging on a friendly final. It's been played in a good spirit, well refereed by Andy Madley and his team. Nothing too taxing or testing for them. And Manchester United now get the handshakes, the first feelings of celebration before the trophy is lifted. They've ended City's 35-game unbeaten run in all competitions. They've ended Rodri's run of 74 games without defeat, and they've stopped City winning the double in successive seasons. That will all mean an awful lot, but not as much as winning the FA Cup itself does, and qualifying for Europe, which was an absolute must when you're Manchester United. A great cheer greets the sight of Sir Alex Ferguson on the Wembley screens. And there at the back of the queue is the captain, Bruno Fernandes, who will become the 8th different Manchester United FA Cup winning captain. Following Charlie Roberts, Johnny Carey, Noel Cantwell, Martin Buchan, Brian Robson, Steve Bruce, Eric Cantona, Roy Keane and Wayne Rooney. United now just one behind Arsenal, 13 FA Cup successes. Whether they're going by trains up the motorway or by country roads, United fans will be singing their songs all the way and into Europe next season. Today, they found a way. And in 2024, the FA Cup winners are Manchester United.
FA Cup win for Manchester United, and each one of their players is raising their trophy, and a big smile on the face of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir Alex Ferguson just behind him. They're just one win behind Arsenal now, who have 14, and a smile on his face. It's been a while probably since he's seen that, Wayne, on your old gaffer's face.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating season for all of us to watch Manchester United, so obviously Sir Alex is a big part of the club, the history of this football club, and every time you win a trophy it's great to see him there, obviously almost giving his seal of approval.
Why does this feel so unique for Manchester United? It's because I suppose the fact that they've lost their way in recent years? Or?
Yeah, absolutely, and the way they've performed, particularly this season. I mean, he did a good job last season in terms of the Carabao Cup and getting to the final, and then but this season in league-wise and going out of the Champions League in the way they did and finishing 8th, then that's nowhere near good enough for a football club of this size. But you have to go and win trophies.
I just think with Man United as well, I think because there's so much scrutiny on the club, and for the young players to come out and do what they've done, Mainu and Garnacho, like, that's why whether Man United win or lose, we're always talking about them, and that is an added pressure that they have to deal with. And I think that is the difference when we see great players come to Man United. It's not because they don't become a bad player overnight, it's just they can't seem to deal with that pressure. And what I'm so happy for is the young players seem to be able to do that.
Lovely moment there as Erik Ten Hag kissed that trophy, and I suppose if you're going to go, if he is going, we don't know that for sure, of course, but if he is going, it's a good way to finish.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's had to answer so many questions. He's had to probably read, I don't know whether he has or not, but he's certainly heard the reports this weekend. And the day of the cup final, he's had to put up with reporters asking him about his future when all he wants to do is set his team up and get his team ready. So, I mean, I said it before the game, from a human side of things, I don't think it's been at all handled well from Manchester United. If they are planning on keeping him, why haven't they come out and backed him beforehand, But as you say, if he's going to go, what a way to go out.
How is it dealing with that pressure, Wayne, whether you're a player or manager, and the scrutiny of the club is on you every single day? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, well, that's expected at Manchester United whether you're a player or manager. Of course, the manager, there's a lot more pressure, but that's expected at a club like Manchester United, and you have to win. It's as simple as that. And obviously, Manchester United finishing 8th in the Premier League is not good enough, and I'm sure Erik Ten Hag would say that himself. But I think to end the season with winning the FA Cup, end on a high, send the fans into the summer ready to watch the European Championships, in a good mood and ready for next season. Whatever happens with Erik Ten Hag now, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough, but he can certainly hold his head up high after today's game and go out with a bang if that's what's going to happen.
I think he played a blinder today.
I agree. Totally agree.
He really did. I mean, they were under huge pressure. So to set his team up the way he did, there was no fluke today. There was no fluke at all. They thoroughly deserved it. They were the better team. The way they stuck together, the way they sort of narrowed the spaces and didn't give anything, the way they closed down, the way they won every tackle, and then when they could, the way they hit them on the break and the switch of play, all of that, particularly first half, was magnificent.
But I think we're quick enough, and we're constantly talking about Erik Ten Hag and how, is he to stay at the club. Them players have shown today they can do it, so that's the question you have to ask. Why have them players not done that all season? Why have they not played as a team all season and allowed the goals against them, chances against them, when they've proved today they can do it? So that's a question these players have to look at themselves maybe in the summer and come back with a different attitude to try and progress this season.
Do you wonder, as the point I made before, that because of the way they play and the fact they're more of a counter-attacking side, that when they're playing, with all due respect, the teams in the bottom half of the league, you can't necessarily play that way, and they're playing against a low block. That's when generally they've struggled.
Yeah, well, I think that's what great teams do. They can adapt, and like when I was at Manchester United, our team wasn't a possession-based team, but when we were playing against the so-called lower teams, we could dominate possession, but we would always get the ball out while we get crossed in the box and stay in attacks. When we used to play against Arsenal, we'd sit back and counter-attack like United did today. So I think you'd have to be adaptable to be a top team.
Fantastic scenes there of the players on the pitch, the fireworks going off behind them, the glitter everywhere, and the young United fans. Look, it's been a while. Yes, it has, hasn't it? Yes, I totally agree. Let's have a look at the, remind ourselves of the goals. It ended up 2-1. We'll start with